The September 15, 2015 City of Statesboro City Council meeting. I would like Councilman John Ricks to please lead us in our invocation and pledge of allegiance.
I'd like to ask Jeff Grant if you do the honors, please.
Dear Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for who you are, and we just pray over this council meeting that you'll guide us in the decisions that we make. We'll make them in the best interest of our community. And we thank you for this community that we live in, this great community, God. We just pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have anybody who has to make public comment? No, ma'am. Okay, moving to agenda item 4, consideration of a motion to approve the consent agenda. I will ask council to review the items under 4 and ask for a motion.
Can we ask questions? Can we ask questions about these?
Sure. Absolutely.
Take it out.
What's happening to all the surplus shotguns?
Fair Council. As the replacements are done, the shotguns will be traded into an NFA deal. They're 14-inch barrel shotguns, so they are not applicable for open sale. We have to get the project with the rifles done and the rifles on the street before we can do any moving forward with the shotguns.
You want a shotgun anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Where the property information is possible. But there has not been a finalized plan. We will come back to council and we're ready to move forward and surplus the shotguns. However, until the rifles are in place, officers are trained on, we will not move to remove those from service until we can put the new weapons in service.
Just curious. Wondering if I can buy one.
Well, if we're in the process of doing that, John, for $43,000, getting 40 days on the fence, I'll take one of those too.
I want to keep those, not surplus those. I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second that.
Any discussion? All in favor, please state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Agenda item 5, second reading of public hearing and consideration of a motion to approve ordinance 2015-07. Mandy.
Thank you, Mayor. This is an ordinance to add an article to the Statesboro zoning ordinance for design standards for the downtown district. This is the final product of a long process that involved the South Main Street Revitalization Committee, the Planning Commission, and much of your feedback. That draft is in front of you now. I'll be happy to take any questions that you all may have.
I mean, I guess the only thing, the way it's currently drafted, anyone that's not compliant currently, the one that's not currently compliant, they're grandfathered in.
That's correct. And there's a threshold, Councilman, that would be triggered. So if any renovation work were to occur, you have to trip that threshold, which is 50% of the value of the property.
Okay.
You know what? I want to back up because I miscued a little bit here. Do I have a motion to open up the public hearing for ordinance 2015-07?
Motion to open the public hearing.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now we have the public hearing open. Thank you. Do I have anybody that has come here today that would like to speak regarding these design standards? For or against? Okay, does council have any questions? Discussion for the public hearing.
Mandy, what kind of feedback are you hearing from Molger or some other builders or people that own property? Are you pleased with everything? Are they a little worried about their phase 2 of the project they've started or anything like that?
The Downtown Development Authority has been part of this process, Council, from the very beginning. And we're present at the Planning Commission meeting 2 weeks ago, which gave the final approval to this draft. So they are inclined to approve of this. And there were a number of larger committees and smaller committees. There's a small committee in particular that had a couple of development community representatives on it that kind of went through initial stages of what were the intentions behind these standards and what impact they would have. And being part of those continued discussions throughout.
How about the planning commission? Did anybody come there and speak for or against?
Originally, when it went in front of planning commission, the representatives from the South Main Committee came and spoke in favor of the standards. And the Downtown Development Authority has spoken throughout both meetings. The planning commission considered this. Both in favor. There were some requested revisions which we have made, and those appear in this draft. I've not had any public response to the draft on that here.
So people like Brian Davis, developer, who serves on that South Bend committee as well, was helpful in some of those changes and was okay with the ordinances written.
Absolutely. Brian Davis is a good example. Nick Props is on that committee. Keelan Fennell is on that committee. So there's been some input from the development team.
Thanks, ma'am.
How do the design standards and our temporary business licenses flow together?
Not at all.
Can you temporarily meet the zoning ordinance requirements of Article 30? We've not made it 31 just for the writing of it.
It will go into the zoning ordinance, so anyone who does need a variance from the ordinances in place, there are standard processes for that. We can go through planning commission back and forth.
All right, do I have a motion to close the public hearing regarding ordinance 2015-07?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please, excuse me, discussion? All in favor, please state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Do I have a motion to approve ordinance 2015-07?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to agenda items 6, 7, 8, 9. As you know, we have several vacancies on the Planning and Zoning Commission. We had 5 applications for 4 upcoming vacancies. One of the applicants agreed to graciously hold off in hopes that there would be another opening at some point and they would be able to apply again. So what we tried to do was get an application. Each district that had submitted one to include those. We had a couple at large, one that is not a property owner in the city. I don't believe one that is a property owner in the city. One that brings some development experience as well. So it was a good group of candidates, and I want to thank council for getting out and soliciting some applications for our planning and zoning board. I think Mandy has had to deal with not a lot of attendance and struggling to make a quorum, and I think these 4 individuals are committed to coming to planning and zoning and listening and doing their homework and making a difference. So I'm going to start with agenda item 6 and ask for a motion to approve resolution 2015-37, which is a resolution to appoint Jamie Carty to the Statesboro Planning Commission for a 4-year term.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Just,
Sure.
there's 4 vacancies or only 3?
Well, there's 3. Well, there'll be 4 because Nick will roll off. But if another vacancy comes up, I spoke with Nick about it, and he said if there's another vacancy and there's not somebody to fill it, he would be willing to come back.
I didn't understand that at the last meeting. You made me aware of that. I didn't realize that was coming up right away. So it is actually 4 starting.
And we will have 2 vacancies. 2 people roll off in 2016.
Finishing a 4-year term?
Yes.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
I've got one thing. I mean, I think all these candidates are more than qualified unless we want to hear or do all of them. Can we just do all 4 of them without?
Well, there's separate resolutions, that's the problem. They will go quick.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you can,
Let's
a
just,
motion to approve resolutions 2015-37 through 2016-07.
We can do it for you.
Well, we're in the middle of 37, so can we just do 37? Any discussion? Good. All in favor, please state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Just to make everybody happy, do I have a motion to approve resolutions 2015-38, 2015-39, and 2015-40?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any discussion?
We don't want to talk about all these in depth.
Clearly, you all are not violating the Open Meetings
Maybe we should
Act.
separate these into separate motions.
Because there's been no communication regarding this prior to being here.
Pretty
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor, please state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The names of the mystery people are James Dudleyberg, Patrick Sullivan, and Benjamin McKay. And we thank them for their willingness to serve.
Should we write them, should we state them with the number they are? And that would help. Do that one by one.
Y'all know I'm trying to go that line tonight, don't you? That's what this is all, that's what this is all. That's what this is all about, isn't it? Okay.
We do now.
We do, yeah.
Consideration of a motion to approve Resolution 2015-31, which is a resolution to approve adjustments to the pay and compensation plan to amend the job title and job descriptions of the Senior Code Compliance Officer and Code Compliance Officer. Robert.
I want to read just a couple of things, Mayor, and then I may defer to Mandy Cody or possibly Jeff Grant if you have any questions. What this is, to make it simple, is really because of the skill set that's needed for our code compliance officers, of which there are two, and one of the main items for both of them is that we require post-certification, and to help ensure that as code enforcement officers that they receive all the continuous training that they need to carry out their duties every day. After studying it and talking a lot with PD and with the Planning and Development Department, I'm recommending that we formally shift the two code compliance positions, code compliance officers positions from the Planning and Development Department, the division within the Planning and Development Department, to the Police Department, which will actually be under the Investigations Division. They would be, just to clarify, although they will be police officers and be under Statesboro Police Department, they will be assigned on a daily basis to the direction of Mandy Cody, who's currently the director of the Planning and Development Department. In addition, we will remove the title of Senior Code Compliance Officer and classify both officers at grade 15 code compliance. So both be code compliance officers, grade 15. And through this same process, we thought it was important to drop back and really look at the job descriptions. So those have been cleaned up, like we do occasionally anyway with lots of positions, but we cleaned up the job descriptions. We've written a letter of a memorandum, or I guess it's a memorandum of understanding. It's more of a letter between the Planning and Development Department and the Statesboro Police Department to make sure that everybody understands how that relationship will be for these two particular positions. And we've gone back and formalized a standard operating procedure, an SOP for the code compliance officers, so it's real clear as to what their duties and what their roles are as officers, but as code compliance officers more specifically. So can answer any questions or refer to me to Jeff.
The fire inspector, so that's kind of the same way.
No, not really. They fall completely under fire, and although they work under a development review team, they aren't assigned under planning and development.
So they aren't, or
They are not.
They are not.
Good question. They're not. It'll clarify lots of things.
Okay.
I do
Mandy,
want
did you have problems?
I was just going to say I want to thank Mandy for her efforts, but PD as well is making this work and go well. I really think it's going to provide the officers as they get older or see a different need for whatever reason, that it's going to give those two positions that you really like, that seasoned type police officer, but then it will fall right into code compliance. It just makes a lot of sense, and I think it's going to be utilized. Now, obviously, it's not open right now, but should it occur, one of those is open, and you're probably going to see police officers typically are going to be the ones that are
any other questions by council?
You know, I just think these both well-certified police officers, they should be in the police department. Anyway.
I know that's been a concern. Mhm.
Is there something in particular driving this decision in particular? I mean, aside from what you said about the future.
There's been issues in the past, I think, you know, when it comes time to, because in 2012, when it was first initiated, and before council was officially approved, the understanding was that this is how we function. But for whatever reason, it was never formalized. This was formalized. It was really a decision that was made 3 years ago. But myself, as new in my position, I think I had to be sold on a few things. And as both sides were talking to me, not both sides, but both departments were talking to me, I wasn't clear on some things. So as we dug, we just found that there was some things that maybe one side was assuming the other side wasn't. So this clarifies it.
Well, if they're going to be wearing sidearms, it probably makes sense to go through all the police certification and training.
Sure, and that's what we want for both positions, both
And
certified.
I want to be real clear, Councilman, that was a good question. It's not so much a shift as it is a formal cooperation between the two departments.
Right.
They'll still work hand in hand with the permitting side of not planning and development department. So on a daily basis, so their task list will fall just as it does now through planning and development. But this will formalize their relationship with the police department for their safety and the certifications and training and all that the police department needs to do. So it'll be more of a formal partnership between the two departments.
Well said.
I think a lot of it's just a cultural shift. You know, when someone's enforcing the law, it used to be you asked them to do something, they did it. Now, you know, if someone's asking someone to enforce the law and it's not a police officer, I think the culture has changed a little bit. And there's a little bit of resistance unless a person's a police officer. So I think this gives them a little bit more of a presence when they're asking someone to follow the law, especially if the next step is they have to see out. And that wasn't the way in the past. You just asked somebody to cut their grass and kind of did it. But now, you know, if they're not doing something, they have to go before court. I think it's better. I guess it's more official. Yeah.
So then they are most certified if necessary to have to testify in court. They've already been trained for that. And that makes a difference too.
What's that? Anything else, council? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve resolution 2015-31?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Agenda item 11, consideration of a motion pursuant to the City of Statesboro grant policy to approve the filing of Form SF-424 pre-application and letter of intent by City of Statesboro and the Everett Center for the National Endowment for the Arts, Our Town grant for up to $100,000 in funding.
Thank you, Mayor. A few months back, the city partnered with the Everett Center to file for the NEA grant under their Our Town program and proposed that we would use the funding that would be awarded for the construction of the alleyway from the Fab Lab. In particular, the pavers, the street furniture, the utility work going underground, things of that nature. Unfortunately, we were not successful in that application process, but in sort of going through the debriefing process with NEA, they were very supportive of our idea and our application, made some suggestions on some changes we could make, and encouraged us to reapply. In looking at that, what we realized was, unfortunately, we can't make the same application because the funding timelines and how you have to expend the funds, when you have to expend the funds, differs between the Economic Development Administration grant that we have for the Fab Lab and this timeline. So we'll need to make some amendments, but the thought process at this point is to reapply for the NEA Our Town grant for $100,000 of funding. Rather than using it for the pavers and the underground utility work, we would use it for the canopy front part of the alley project. So the first step is to file this form and deliver a letter of intent by September 21st. That's the approval that I'm asking for tonight. The second step would be to put the application together by early October. It would probably come to the next council meeting for review and approval pursuant to the grant policy. There are some matches required, and right this minute I don't have all those figures together. We're in the process of doing that as soon as we have this approval.
So, do you have any idea what the match is? Even ballpark it?
I believe it's a 1-for-1 match, maybe, but dollar for dollar. But don't hold me to that, I need to verify.
But we'll know that when you bring up the application itself.
I guess.
Okay. Any questions? All right, do I have a motion to approve the filing of Form SF 424, pre-application letter of intent by the City of Statesboro and the Everett Center for the Arts by September 21st for the reservation of opportunity to apply for the National Endowment for the Arts Our Town grant for up to $100,000.
I wholeheartedly can make a motion to approve that.
I strenuously second it.
Do we have anybody that wants to be giddy and talk about it? Okay. All in favor, please state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving right along, other business from City Council. Do we have anything?
I have a list.
I think Alvin was gonna,
Read an ordinance?
Alvin was gonna read the new alcohol ordinance in its entirety this evening, I believe.
Can we,
For the record.
can we set it up with some mood music? What you got in mind? I think a little Lou Rawls, maybe.
You're gonna throw
That I like. The only thing that I would like to add is that y'all may or may not be aware, but Leadership Georgia is here in Statesboro beginning tomorrow. This is the first time that they have visited Statesboro since 1995. It will be a caravan of folks. You notice a lot of cleaning going on. You notice medians being mowed and flags going up and stuff on front of buildings and signs and things like that. We've been very blessed. Last Thursday night we had Mrs. Nathan Deal here, and then she was here for lunch on Friday. Tomorrow we will have the Board of Leadership Georgia, which has a number of people from the governor's office on it, as well as Governor Deal speaking tomorrow night at the Boys and Girls Club dinner. And then they will be in our town for 2 days with tons and tons of, lots of dignitaries flying around. So, you know, do your best. But if you notice buses and police and all that kind of stuff moving around, that's what's going on. So that's the only comment that I have for other business. Anybody else has got anything they want to know?
Just expanding on that, if you're not aware of the Boys and Girls Club dinner tomorrow night, steak and burger dinner, please attend if you can attend it. It's an awesome event. And also that Governor Deal is speaking, which is nice for them because if they have to pay a speaker, Governor Deal is coming down. So made it a lot nicer for them, so the end result will be a much better event and fundraiser.
Do you have any comments, Rob?
Only item was a reminder of the work session. I think you want to confirm that Lee is the work session for the alcohol ordinance is next Monday? Next 21st, Monday at 4.
And Alvin's going to read it. Is that right?
Just a reminder.
In haiku.
Thank you.
Wasn't it 4? Is that correct?
I believe so.
Okay. Monday, 4 o'clock?
Yes, it is.
Monday, 4 o'clock.
That's it.
Do we have anybody that asked to make a public comment?
Yes. Marshall Ransom.
Okay, Mr. Ransom, are you here?
I guess from the way things are going this evening, I should not ask if I can show you my 97 PowerPoint slides. So I'll launch in. Go right ahead. Okay, Mr. Boyman, I'll get that going in just a minute. I have a short statement, and I apologize if this comes across a little terse, but my name is Marshall Ransom, and I live at 219 Fox Lake Drive. I'm here because of an issue I have already explained twice, but more importantly because it continues to get worse. The approved plan for drainage for Myrtle Crossing homes that border Fox Lake homes that are on the north side of Fox Lake Drive shows a ditch running behind each home. And yet, at this time, another home is being built, but there is no ditch. I guess it's okay to build and develop land in a manner that is not according to the approved plan. This latest home is being built also adjacent to the Myrtle Crossing commercial property parking lot. The approved plan does not show it, but most of this parking lot drains into Fox Lake backyards. However, do not despair for the Myrtle Crossing homeowner, because that house is protected from parking lot runoff by a curb, and where the concrete curb ends, dirt has been piled up in such a manner as to make sure that not a drop gets on the Myrtle Crossing homeowner's property, but that all the water drains into our backyards. I'm somewhat amazed that an approved plan can be ignored. We are still here. We still suffer from the runoff water, flooding septic tanks, and pouring water into back porches and through back doors. It's my understanding that city engineering looked at the parking lot this June, and that there is a plan to divert the water appropriately away from Fox Lake backyards. At the least, I would like to see that plan implemented. At the very least, I would hope that the city never again approves a plan for development and then allows that plan to be ignored. Thank you.
Is there a plan, Jason, for the parking lot?
We are working with the developer that.
Okay, this is on the new building or their existing problem? This has been going on a while.
This is on the adjacent property,
Okay, what about, then we have a ditch you said,
There's an easement along the back of the Myrtle Crossing property. It's a private easement, right?
That's correct.
And the homeowners have built fences through and behind that easement, or into the easement. So I think that's one of the problems too with that ditch, is the ditch is not being maintained by the homeowners association.
It's really what caused it, and the city has really stepped in and tried to facilitate an answer and tried to work with those property owners and Myrtle Crossing to let them know that what they've done has been detrimental back upstream. So we have tried to facilitate, but we don't have a lot of authority past that. But we've stepped in and went beyond that to come up with a design to do some things that we hope will actually get that water off of it, since the downstream has been a little corrected. And that's kind of where we are. I don't know why it stopped in June, so I apologize for that. But it may be that the city was going to work on the part in the right of way, and we agreed to do that at our expense. But there's the other part, and I don't know who was going to pay that, but I've asked staff to get back on that and figure out why that dropped.
That's right, we're working, we lost communication with the developer, and just we're trying to see that work with the city. So he agreed to give his part to catch that water. His property is adversely impacted as well by that.
I will say, just so you know all of it, the homeowners association is discussing replacing that fence. So if they do such a thing, they probably need to replace it in a proper location, which would not be on the far side of the easement. Is that correct?
Right.
I mean, I don't know, unless the homeowners
Still
association.
maintain the ditch. It's still a private ditch.
It's
Yes,
the
you got
homeowners
the
association.
maintenance, and you got residential fences that run laterally, but we're not going to.
But the main fence is on the other side of the easement. It should probably be on the near side, not the far side. So that way your perpendicular fences aren't going through the easements, which is where the water is collecting and being pushed in the box.
Right. And this was one of our main topics when we talked about the stormwater utilities, was addressing this kind of thing. Now we have a mechanism in place to be able to kind of look at these and address them. So unfortunately, the stormwater, and I guess the stormwater utility came in place a little later than residents would like, but there is a mechanism now in place, and there wasn't really one in place not long ago to be able to fix something of kind of, I don't want to call this magnitude, but at least something like this. So
Yeah.
at least now we have a
That's right.
system.
And that's where our funds would come from when the city started.
That's right. We're using those funds that we're starting to collect on the recent part that's in the right of way. So it's giving us.
One of the issues though is that this part of the drainage is a private easement owned by the owner association. It's not a city easement.
Can we give them a timeline-ish update or something of when we can at least touch base? Because I remember having a very similar discussion of this 6 months ago or so. And I thought we were that, and I guess that would be in the June-ish area. I'd love for there to be some sort of follow-up there.
I'll follow up.
If that's okay with you.
No, I'm sitting here wondering, the approved developer, that the house that's being built, is part of that approval, or did anything, are they mandated to make sure that their drainage issue is fixed when they build?
I don't remember the details.
Brad said. Brad might have.
I will say, Marco's former manager has been in contact in the last week with the property owner that Mr. Ransom was talking about where the house is being built, and he does seem to be supportive of diverting all the stormwater into the pipe that runs down Earl Crossing Drive from the stormwater is coming from the parking lot for the office complex. And I think they purchased the materials and everything, so it seems to be committed to it. That's where that stands.
So,
That's a big portion of it.
so Brad, that would take out that, what do they call that, the drainage swale, and never put a grate there instead, and then divert it?
Put a box where there's currently a flume.
Plume, that's what they call it.
I knew it was something cool then.
The drainage boxes, catch all that water and run it back to the system pipe that runs down the street from one crosses.
But we'll have, engineering will take a look at it and we'll report back at the next council meeting on the status of what Brad's talking about. In addition to, is there anything that the current person is building out there, whoever that is, what are they doing to make sure that they're not going to impact it even worse?
Yeah, we'll update you, we'll update Mayor Council.
Okay.
We'll also make contact with
Make a note of that. Appreciate it.
Then, Mr. Ransom, I hope you hold us accountable on that. I got a feeling that you will. Okay, I completely understand. All right, do we have any further public comment? Okay, at this time, I would like to add to the agenda that we will need to meet for executive session regarding personnel. So do I have a motion to enter into executive session? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's all. Thank you for executive session. We have a couple of votes coming out of executive session. Do I have a motion from council to accept the resignation of our public safety director, Linda Turner, effective October the 13th?
Yes, ma'am, motion to accept that resignation.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Do I have a motion to name Major Rob Ryan as acting head of the police department
So moved.
on Friday, the 25th of this month? Moved second.
Is that the correct date?
Yes, and then
September?
September 25th. Motion and second, any discussion? All in favor, please state by saying aye.
Aye.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Yes.
Please state by saying aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Thank you all.